Off you go ahead.
I'm Woolmer, and I'm a classical violinist. I attended Gabriel School, and I've absolutely no classical music in my family. But I began learning the violin with local music teacher Karen Parker, and I showed some talent. And so I won scholarships to both Trinity College of Music and London College of Music, which are some of the highest conservatoires in the world. So I was very lucky to do so. But I had to learn a lot about classical music because I don't come from a classical background. After that, really, my career just took off. I was asked to play as soloist for a number of orchestras. I'm a soloist and chamber musician, which means I don't play in an orchestra. I stand at the front, normally with a big dress. And I was lucky enough to get those jobs as soon as I came out of university. And that was really a good beginning to my career. So my career highs from then on. I performed at the Wales Millennium Centre. I've curated various chamber concerts around Europe, and I've released both a single and a album, the single of which got to #1 in the classical download charts. While doing this, just for fun, in my local area of Thurrock, I set up something called the WMG, that's the Woolmer Music Group. I chose that name because I'm not really good at thinking of names, so I thought I'd just give it my surname. And this was a group that allowed me to try out various things that I thought would help my community. So it started off with small chamber concerts at St Margaret's Church in Stamford, and then it began ways that I thought you could teach music in a cheaper way to more people, make it more accessible. So various forms of group lesson, which involve listening and responding to music and teaching the instrument from the age of 4 or 5, and that was hugely successful. So we started schools throughout Thurrock, in-school tuition throughout Thurrock. So quite a lot of the Thurrock schools now have tuition. From then on, what I started noticing when I play with orchestras, well, I started noticing 2 things. Number one, Thurrock doesn't have too much classical music, and also no one my age really likes classical music. So it was really hard to talk about my career to anyone who I knew outside of classical music. I also noticed something about classical music itself. Maybe I'm a complainer, but I noticed that when I went to play with orchestras, it's really hard as a soloist. You have to go in there to a group that's very tight-knit and perform professionally together, and you have to quickly bond with them, understand the group dynamics. And these group dynamics, it's a very close-knit community. And I noticed perhaps that was not orchestras per se, but that kind of close-knit and isolated existence of classical music, of classical orchestras. I found it hard as a soloist to get on board with each group. But I also thought maybe that's what's holding classical music back. So when my CD of Lark Ascending got to #1 in the download charts, and it did quite well financially, and I decided I'd like to start my own orchestra. So 2 years after its initial success, and I was still talking about this, then I started putting it into practice. The idea would be that it would be based in Thurrock, though we can perform hopefully eventually around the UK. It would be based in Thurrock. It would be of extremely high quality, but the orchestra would be fun to play with. There'd be dynamic, fun individuals, excellent musicians, and they would bring top-notch quality music in a non-segregated way, in a fun way that everyone could enjoy. So that wasn't too difficult a challenge, of course. And so we began looking for people throughout the UK. We asked for YouTube auditions, and before we know it, people were responding from Europe, and then they're responding from around the world. And so the orchestra we flew in people for the original orchestra. They were from the UK, they were from Bulgaria, they were from Italy, and our first concert was on the 20th of February 2014. And what I decided to do, my good friend, concert pianist Daniel Roberts, gave me a book, and it was about funny things happening in classical music, but it told me about promenade concerts. Not like the BBC proms, which you see now. That's one form of promenade. But in the old days, promenade concerts were absolutely brilliant. They were classical music and anything went. The closest you could say they were today is similar to theme parks. So it was entertainment, it was orchestras, they were often outdoors, but there was so much entertainment around there. It's for anyone to go in, is extremely cheap. And these things are really like the rock music of the day. They were really big events. Mozart performed there, whereas in London, Handel performed there. So our first concert was a traditional promenade concert, and we gave food. There was fireworks in the concert, and it was to be a huge success. What we did find was we did not get enough people from Thurrock. Thurrock still went on board. So since that day, we've continued with the promenade theme because it seems to be something that people enjoy, and we're gradually increasing our audience base. Where are they today? Well, the WMG now are producing more and more. We're moving out more to helping schools learn how to put musical education into everyday life. And the WPO has just received Arts Council funding, Heritage Lottery funding, and Big Lottery funding. So we got the big three. This is people around the world, if you're watching this from around the world, funding is so difficult to get. And we were astonished when we got one. So to get all three of the lottery funders for our orchestra is absolutely amazing in a time where it's getting harder and harder, and that will be put into big use on our next project. What have I learnt from all this? I've learned that actually it's not good enough just to be a good musician or to be a big personality. That they go, you know, that's really great to be a soloist, but much of my job was nothing I learnt doing my degree. It's number one, considering my base, I've still made Thurrock my base. It's about relationships with the community. When I first started the orchestra, I didn't realise how important it was to ask the community what they want. You know, I decided what the community wanted, and from there on to meet the Rotary Club, to meet various other, the Women's Institute, youth groups, and to get on board and find out what they want, and also to find out how they can get involved. Because if it's something that you think the community want, you should really ask the community about it so they can have their input on it. Also, for anything you do, and I really look up to the Rotary Club for this, what you see on the surface is only the tip of the iceberg. If you really believe in something, the final concert or the final project, you have to have so much administration skills, accountancy skills, you have to be able to research, and you have to be able to delegate. And so they're skills that we never learn at music college. So I've really learned, in order to be successful in life, whether it's classical music, whether it's just finishing your garden, or whether it's planning a project away from your work, you really need to have all of these all-round skills and be able to handle everything in a calm and timely fashion. So now I'm going to tell you a bit about our next concert. So I'm not sure where everyone, I can see some people watching this. I know they're from Thurrock, so you know where I am in the world, but I'm not sure if anyone's watching from anywhere else in the world. I'm based where the Rotary Club are, which is Thurrock. It's where I was born, it's where I was raised, it's where I live now. And that's just outside of London. Because it's just outside of London, we're actually described as culturally starved almost. Because there's so much culture in London, not a lot has been put into the areas just outside of London. So we are a mix between a rural environment and a more densely populated environment. We're also a place that has changed beyond recognition throughout my lifestyle. My lifetime. When I was younger, it was more indigenous residents and probably more white than anything else. Since that time, there's been huge amounts of migration of working people in various professions coming into the area. More buildings are being built. And because of this, our area's changed and the community's changed. And so we're really now trying to work out how to realign that and how to bring culture into the area. For the next concert, I wanted to do something that was about our area, but also kept in mind what our orchestra is about. So I typed into Google promenade concerts and Thurrock. And what came up was something I never heard about before. It's something called Belmont Castle. I've lived here my whole life. I've never heard of Belmont Castle. So we looked into it a bit more, and it is amazing. It's how Thurrock has changed so much in a couple hundred years. So this place was situated where a big shopping centre is today, Lakeside. When this castle was built in the late 18th century, it was built by ship manufacturers who used that area to manufacture ships. They were upwardly mobile people in a sort of Rococo Georgian period. They were the people who changed their fortune and became suddenly rich, became gentlemen. And they decided to stamp their seal of approval with a huge neo-Gothic monstrosity of a castle. And they built that at the boundary areas of their chalk pit that they also had, which is now Lakeside. 10 years later, their rival company next door built an even bigger castle. So Thurrock had these huge castles on there and just sort of dominating the landscape. And there's multiple pictures around about it, but not many people know because it was demolished in 1943 because of the Second World War, and it had kind of fallen to rack and ruin. So when we looked into it a bit more, this place was so extravagant. It was kind of their country home, and that's what they used Thurrock for. And they threw parties, they had pleasure gardens. That's these beautiful gardens you can walk around, and they threw outside musical events every year that were promenade concerts. So our event, and we were originally the WPO, our orchestra, the WPO. Our event is called Pleasure Gardens, Promenades, and Thurrock, the Untold History. And what it looks into is the completely forgotten story of the many families that lived in this Belmont castle. And over the summer, we have volunteers going to the British Library, the library in Chelmsford, and the Thurrock Library, researching the families, researching the traditions and the music. From September to November, we will be running concerts and workshops throughout the Thurrock schools where they'll be learning the music, and they will also be learning about the history. And then on the 11th of November 2016, we will be performing for the whole of Thurrock. For one night only, we'll be recreating Belmont Castle. The orchestra will be playing en masse, 60 members of the orchestra. We're also going to be joined by a local brass band, which I can't give away yet until we get complete confirmation of it, and also a local wind group. We'll also be joined by over 40 local primary schools, and at the moment we're trying to arrange the logistics of keeping them all backstage. So this is going to be a huge concert. Once again, you can eat whilst watching the concert, but you can also stroll through our mock-up of the promenade concerts from Belmont Castle. You can learn about the history in our display outside, and it's pretty much a very laid-back, beautiful environment. So you can wander around, you can buy food, you can sit at the tables and enjoy the concert, all while world-class musicians are entertaining you with Thurrock brass bands, woodwind, and local schools. So that is our latest project. We initially got the funding from Heritage Lottery, and we were so pleased that they felt strongly about this project. We thought we would like to have further funding, so we applied for Arts Council and Big Lottery, not expecting to get either of them, and we got both. So the concert's become a huger and huger thing, and we'll soon be starting our marketing campaign, advertising it to local community. So that's all about me and what I'm doing. Any questions, anyone?
That's really, really great stuff, Hannah. Really great stuff. So how are you actually going to distribute and sell the tickets? Are you going to advertise, obviously, in the local newspapers?
Any advertising campaign Eventbrite and the tickets. They'll be you will be able to see all the links in the local newspaper. You'll be able to see it on our website, on our Facebook page. But with advertising now, we should be on local radio and in the newspaper. We're also, I think, we have volunteers doing door-to-door flyering. But literally, you can go on and book it on Eventbrite. Also, because of our funding, the tickets are extremely cheap for this concert. We want to get as many of the local community in as possible.
That's really, really good. Yeah, hopefully it should be good. If you need any help, just obviously give us a shout. Yeah, always.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So do I take it, Hannah, that the members of the orchestra are from all parts of the world? It's an international orchestra.
Yes, yeah, they're all from all around the world. We have to limit how many we buy in, and many of them are extremely good. What they try and do is arrange other concerts in the area as well. So in London, they do their own chamber concerts. So that cuts down on the travel price. And we have volunteers So they're pretty much from all around the world. Most of them actually have solo careers, and we feature quite a few of them in our programme if you want to go and look out for them. Also, if you're friends on Facebook, you can probably see them.
There somewhere.
Where are the concerts taking place, Hannah?
It will be at the Civic Hall in Grays, so it's not far at all. It's going to be inside. The original concerts, the promenade concerts at Belmont, were outside, but we think because of English weather, because it's November, it will be very unlikely that we could have it outside. It would cost huge amounts of money to get staging to cover the instruments and let them get damaged. So we've done it inside. We made an outdoor concert inside. So it looks like the outside of Belmont Castle, but it will be inside the Civic Hall.
You advertise it in London as well?
In London, I think our Facebook campaigns take us to London. Any hard copy advertising in London, but we'd be open to suggestion if you think it's a good idea. Normally, quite a lot of our orchestra advertise for us in London just through their own contacts.
Yeah. As you said before, London is the cultural centre, and it's not that far away, so it might be worth more people to break from London.
Yeah, we should do something on the newspapers actually. We've only ever done Facebook campaigns, but London, we may be able to stretch to them. Something like the Metro or something on those, because if we advertised in the Metro, that would also hit all the C2C lines all the way up to London.
Absolutely.
Not too much.
Any other questions for Hannah? Frank, can I ask you to do a vote of thanks?
Yeah. It's been a very interesting talk, Hannah, and it's interesting also to hear how someone from Grays, and Thurrock, which, as you rightly say, is not the could never be described as the cultural centre of the country, able to do what you have managed to do so far, and hopefully in the future you will be able to bring a little bit of culture back into Thurrock. Thank you very much for spending the time with us, and I'm sure everyone has been very interested in listening to you and hearing what you are doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take your cup out of there.
Thanks so much. Really good. Where's Prakash gone? I was going to ask him to do a chat. And anyway, while we're waiting for him.
I wish you well. I'm leaving now.
Okay, Sam.
I wish you well. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, thanks for coming on board, Sam. You take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Later. Yeah, take care. Bye. Right. Somebody's generating a lot of interference. It's either... Prakash, you're back again. Hi, Prakash. Can we ask you to give us an update on your foundation activities? Prakash, can you hear?
Put the legs
Prakash.
Wings have to be up and the legs are down. On the edge. Put your legs
Prakash, can you hear? Prakash.
like this. Come around here.
From here,
Can you hear? Right.
breaking.
Could we ask you to give us an update on your foundation activities? Can you hear?
We'll put it on your bookshelf. All right? Okay.
Prakash, can you hear us? No. You can't hear us.
Can you hear me, Frank?
Yes, yes.
I can't, it's totally breaking. I can't hear.
We're going to do this.
Right.
I can't hear Phil's voice. Hannah was audible.
Right, just 2 seconds. I'm just going to go and turn off. Janice, can you turn off the iPad?
Turn it off.
Well, either mute it. Can you mute it? There's a lot of interference coming through.
From the iPad.
Just turn the sound down.
I can't do it at the moment. Can you come and do it?
Okay, right. Bear with me, guys. 2 seconds. There's a lot of interference coming from somewhere.
Hi.
Right. Sorry, brother. Right. You can see Janice is babysitting, I'm afraid. Right, Prakash, can you hear us now?
That's all we.
Right. Prakash, I'm going to message you. No, you can't hear. Can you hear?
Yes. 1 second.
He's on his phone. 1 minute, I'm going to message Prakash.
You've also got the chat button at the bottom of the screen.
Ah, yeah, of course. Yeah. Let me just message him quickly. He can't hear for some reason. Right.
Yeah. Okay. This year our club is planning a grant for education. Last year as a district we did grants almost $1 million, very close to $1 million, $980,000 was the total of grants last year. This year I am not heading the district grants committee. I'll be focusing on our own club. We are celebrating our 50th year and we are planning grants for education. And one more news, you must have read it, Dabur Knowledge Management Trust. So we are going to have an education project. We already have something close to $10,000 raised between us locally. And primary contact from Kowloon has agreed. So they'll be giving another $10,000